How's it going, folks? Welcome back to another Star Wars Genesis Holocron. I'm Muse, and today we are jumping into all of the Mandalorian armor that you can currently get in 8.6.2 of Star Wars Genesis. We're going to do a little bit of a fashion show for it, show you all the resistances, everything they do. But before we do that, make sure you force push those like and subscribe buttons so you know every time we drop a new sweet Star Wars Genesis video. And with that being said, let's jump in. So starting off, we will have the Shadow Collective Grunt Armor. This does come in a few different versions, but they all have the same stats. And this is the Shadow Collective Durasteel Armor. So we have this in three different versions. The base version, which looks like Beskar, but is Durasteel. The red version, which actually has a little bit better resistances. And then the black and red version, which is the same resistances as the other one. So the colored versions, I guess with color you get a little bit more resistance with that. And it's not too much. You're getting about 60% energy reduction or damage resistance with all of these. So something to note, if you do not know, for every 100 you get 10% damage reduction. So a 600 resistance to something is 60% reduction. The most energy resistance you can have is 95%. You can't go anything over than that, and this does stack with everything. So if you do add like your Duraplast shoulder pieces, that does add a little bit, not a lot for there, but you can get a little bit more. So as you kind of add everything, that's how you get more resistance. So the Shadow Collective Durasteel, not the strongest, but does look pretty cool here. Kind of scrolling in. This is kind of the base. All of the Shadow Collective does use the same jetpack, which is the JT-12 jetpack. So everyone does use this jetpack. So you can get pretty much all of these anytime that you fight Shadow Collective enemies. With them, they do also have a few different helmets. So you have your Grunt helmet, which is what we have right now, with a little face. I believe that's kind of like the Maul stuff. So Shadow Collective's kind of the Maul. The Charger is the same, I believe. The Shadow Collective Charger helmet. I don't think there's anything different between the Charger and the Grunt. Then we have our Sniper helmet, which kind of really leans more on the Maul himself. Again, same armor resistance, but I do think that the Sniper helmet does look the coolest for our base Shadow Collective armor. For our next armor, we are looking at the Super Commando armor. So this does give you that 80%, which is honestly good enough for me for the most part. Really getting that, not Mandalorian, I guess technically this is the Mandalorian armor video, that Darth Maul armor from the Death Watch. You get the little horns for Darth Maul, you get the whole pattern and everything. Also, you get lightsaber resistance on this one. So this one is a little bit upgraded. We have our Super Commando helmet up here as well with all those fun spikes. Again, this one does use the same jetpack as well. I've not really seen any other jetpacks for these. If you do see a Super Commando jetpack, let me know in the comments. Or if I do miss any Mandalorian armor that you see, let me know as well. And finally, for our Shadow Collective armor, we have our Mandalorian Pariah armor. This is also just as strong as the Super Commando armor, but I think this one does have a kind of darker look to it. It does have its own jetpack as well. You also get your lightsaber resistance. You get this one by fighting the bounty hunters. So bounty hunters across the galaxy, the Shadow Collective bounty hunters, do have better armor and weapon drops. So if you want this armor, you do have to fight a lot of Shadow Collective. I managed to luck out on mine when I was going through bases on Moon. So all of this Shadow Collective armor does drop. This one does drop from higher level enemies, and honestly I think might be the coolest Shadow Collective armor that there is in the game. A little bit closer look at the helmet here. You kind of get that little Boba Fett dent as well. A little walk around here, and then for the Pariah pack, nice black. I actually think I'm going to use this for my main. I like the colors on it. I think I am actually going to start using this jetpack for my main setup. Up next is our Death Watch Mandalorian Armor. You do get this from doing the Bounty Hunter quest line, getting that going and everything. You also get the Night Owl Armor as well. This one I haven't seen quite as much of. It's a little bit more rare, as it actually says that it is more rare up top. You get that 800 resistance, which again is absolutely solid. I'm also rocking it with the Night Owl Jetpack. Hopefully it loads up here. There we go. With the Night Owl Jetpack, because we do also get Night Owl Armor as well. The Night Owl Armor, however, is sex specific, so there is a specific one for female as well as male. The helmet as well has that lightsaber resistance for the minus 15% incoming energy damage. This was also an update for, I think it was 8.6.2, adding these resistances to some of the armor perks. Night Owl Armor is a little bit weaker, but not really that much. It's only 20% or 20 less energy resistance, but you do still have that 800 plasma resistance. This is the male specific version. I will also move over saves and have a female specific version as well. That way you guys can see that on top while we are doing this. Obviously, if you're a lady, you're doing the Night Owl Armor because it's just awesome. You get some sweet Bo-Katan armor there. Male, looks okay. I think the Death Watch is a little bit cooler than the Night Owl Armor, but I do like the little cutout there for the face mask. I really think that's super cool. Again, you're going to get this from the Bounty Hunter quest line, and you get it for free after completing your first mission there. Neo Crusader Armor. So if you ever played Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, this is an armor set that you are going to just remember. I've only seen it in blue in game, however. I think that there are console commands to also get this armor in red, but I've only ever seen the blue. I've only ever been able to pick up the blue. There's random NPCs throughout the galaxy. If you do the Banky Clan missions, you will find a guy who owes them money that is wearing this armor that you can kill and get him. It's a little messy, but hey, you get some sweet Mandalorian armor out of it. It is just as strong as all the other ones and has a backpack to go with. The Dual Master backpack, I believe I also pulled off of a Bounty Hunter boss enemy. This one is pretty sweet. It's got the minus 15 damage for droids, plus 25 thermal resistance, and a chance to reflect attacks. I do really like that chance to reflect attacks, especially if you are going for a Mandalorian kind of mercenary build and you don't have lightsabers to deflect everything back at your enemies with. Old school, love the Neo Crusader armor. The Masterwork Pure Beskar armor is craftable. We also have a video on that. You are going to need to collect a lot of Beskar fragments and just a lot of Beskar in general to get this armor. It is maxed out stats over the max, so you are getting the absolute most resistance you can get on a armor set, and it is craftable. So you get the basic early version, which does not have any of these sweet stats, and you kind of keep going and building it throughout the game. So if you are going through and want to do a Mandalorian RP, make sure you head to Mandalore, get to the Forge, grab this armor so that you can start crafting it and really start working on it, because it does take a lot of resources. The back, also good, minus 15% incoming melee damage, minus 50% fall damage, and minus 10% blaster damage. So you are just really taking no damage in this armor whatsoever. Increase accuracy with the helmets by 20%, 10% damage to scan targets, which I never do, and minus 25% stamina consumption, so you can run for even longer. This is kind of the closest you're going to get to Din Djarin right now. If you do have, for 8.6.2, you can get the Mudhorn armor, but it is currently locked. You can also use CC files to do it. I have it because I got it before they patched it out, but this is currently the closest that you can get to some Din Djarin armor. For the Chonky boys, not quite as resistant, but you're still getting the max amount once you put everything on, so that is absolutely okay. Don't let that less than 1,000 resistance kind of deter you away, this is the max amount after your hard cap. This also gives you minus 50% incoming energy damage resistance and 75% chance to reduce damage by 50 while standing still. So if you are using a minigun, you are standing there just mowing things down, you are taking absolutely no damage, and you're taking less fall damage. Not that you need to do that, because you have a jetpack with everything. It's not invisible, despite what I said in the original video. My stuff was just kind of messed up a little bit. And this is where you're going to get a lot of everything. The pack and the helmet don't have anything extra on them, but you do get the nice mythosaur. Did I say myth? It's a mythosaur, right? Yeah, it's a mythosaur logo right there for the Mandalorians, and is just a chunky Jon Favreau favorite boy in your pure Beskar. No colors, nothing crazy there. Just meat, potatoes, and just tank. So if you want to go through, be just a sweet tank, this is a really easy one to get. You just got to go through, talk to Vlad, and he'll tell you. Just make sure you take a lot of ammo with you when you go get this armor. Next up, we're talking about weapons, starting with the Ambam. I actually think I'm going to just go through this alphabetically just because it's a little bit funnier. So this is your Din Djarin gun. It does 10,000 damage and reloads like it's a musket. Honestly, this has some of the worst reloading, but it does so much damage, it's ridiculous. So I mean, it does a lot of damage. It looks good, and I love it. So you can pick this up off of, again, Shadow Collective bosses, and you can also find it in a couple different just shops randomly throughout the galaxy. I have seen them a few times. For sure on the Shadow Market, that's probably the most likely for it to find, and then randomly throughout other shopkeepers in the galaxy. Coruscant has some of the best kind of variety of things, but you can always find this on Shadow Collective bosses. With the D11, I don't know if this is a Mandalorian gun or not, but I like it. It does a lot of damage for a pistol. Has a 12-shot magazine and just looks cool. I just wanted to showcase this one because I found it just as I was killing things, and I really like it. The G125, this is another one where I don't know if it's I don't think that this is a Mandalorian weapon. I know we're going a little off topic here, but it's awesome. It's a grenade launcher. It's the only grenade launcher I've seen. I actually found it early, again, off of a Shadow Collective bounty hunter. So if you do find one of these, they're ridiculous. I like to give this to my companion and give them one of the SB 4.0 explosive cells, and then they just blow things up. So this is how I get through ATSTs and the Guardians, is I just hand this to one of my companions, and they just go to town, and they just delete things. So if you have an Ambam or this, you're just melting opponents. So very, very good. Back to actual Mandalorian weapons, the Galar 15. This is the Mandalorian standard. This is another one you are going to find on every single Shadow Collective opponent, and they're the easiest to find. They have a decent magazine, good fire rate, and when we get the update, they will have hollow sights. It's just been kind of a pain in the ass for them to work on, I've been noticing throughout. But hey, if you want the Galar, it's one of the easiest Mandalorian guns to find, and just go through and fight just a bunch of Shadow Collective. You're going to find 10 of them. Vibro knife, I mean, it's a vibro knife. If you want to do melee and you don't want to do lightsabers, it's pretty cool. It's got 540 plasma damage, which is the same as just every other gun, but melee. So if you do need a vibro knife, you want to do that, get some takedowns in, they have them. Again, this dropped pretty frequently on all of the Shadow Collective enemies. Pretty easy to find. I've picked up many in my travels. RSKF 44 Epic Blaster Pistol. I have seen regular versions of this as well, but this is one that I picked up off of a Shadow Collective enemy. It looks really sweet. I do like what they did with all the Star Wars pistols in this game. A little bit less of a magazine, but it does kind of pack a punch and does more damage to the less armor someone has. So if they're, I mean, just does a whole lot of damage. I think I also upgraded this a little bit as well, but I do like this gun. Next to the Westar guns, the shotgun. Just like all the other ones, you can find this weapon on any Shadow Collective enemy. I think that Sarah also has this weapon that she starts with. I don't necessarily like the shotguns, but it looks cool. All of the Westar weapons look really sweet. Has a decent fire rate, and each one of those projectiles does do the 240, so it's not just a blast of 240. Each projectile does that 240 plasma damage. The Westar 34 I did find on a secret planet, and on that planet it looks like one that's getting modded right now. You're seeing all the footage for it. You go down, you find the weapons place, and you can find this plus some of the other Mandalorian weapons. So you can find the Galar and I believe the shotgun as well. But this is just a beautiful pistol for the Westar stuff. The Westar 35, a little bit more of your kind of Mandalorian pistol. You see these with the Night Owls. Couple dual wields you see them with. I think that Captain Rex also uses these guns. I could be wrong, but they do look very familiar. And then there's also a Night Owl version, which you find off of the boss enemies. It's got the little Night Owl logo right there. Not too much power, but it does have a very fast fire rate. I wish that we could dual wield pistols because that would just make this so cool. The Westar 55, a little bit bigger pistol, packs a little bit more of a punch. I don't know who actually uses this one or not, but does pack a punch, decent fire rate, decent magazine. Also drops from all of the Shadow Collective enemies. That's kind of the theme here, is most all of this can drop from Shadow Collective enemies. Sorry to interrupt, but this is a little post-Muse disclaimer. With all of the updates, some things will change, like where the Mandalorian Neo armor is. It changed on the guy, and then he got a new armor, so very sorry about that. Do note, if you're watching this in the far future, some of these things might change as we are getting a actual Shadow Collective quest line, so some of these might be locked behind future bosses and other things. The Westar 99 is my least favorite of the pistols. This is probably also the most common. It's the cheapest. I don't like it. It's got terrible fire rate, terrible damage. It's just not good. Don't waste your time. And that is all the Mandalorian weapons. And that's it. That's all the Mandalorian armor and weapons. I forgot about the weapons earlier that you can get in the game. There's a good variety. Less than I thought, but still a great variety. So until next time, may the Force be with you.